Okay, hello and welcome to everyone. Okay, so this is going to be the same video that I just updated a couple of months ago. I also don't remember that one, but many people just tend to like that video a lot. Okay, so this is just a remake of that video, but the code is more furnished, and you could just see it and you can follow it with more quality. Okay, so let's proceed to the video. First of all, I'm just going to import the Tkinter module. Let's say I've been learning Java and all that, and that's why it's like combining all of the things. Import all from Tkinter. Import TTK. So that's the one I'm going to import, and let's run let's have some root that's called TK, then after root.geometry, let's give them 650 times 500. Okay. Okay, so this is working. So first of all, I need to get the data for the Treeview, and then we could just use that data and upload it to the Treeview. In that way, we need to have a entry box, so that where we type it, and we can take that data from that entry box and send it to the Treeview so that it could filter out the rows and columns according to the searched term. Okay, so first that we need to have a data. Okay, so let's say data. I already have a simple data that's a little bit modified than the previous one. Okay, let's say this is the data. Okay, so you can have any data, whichever you like, or you could just copy that one, but this code is going to be on, let's say GitHub. I'm going to post that into GitHub, so you could just copy and paste, and you can manipulate the code. And for that, this one is the column, so I need to have a column name too. And I would just use column equals to, let's give it a list, IDs, let's say passport, pass_num, it's a password number, and the full name, and we have like DOB, let's say date of birth. You could have different things, just as I mentioned earlier. Okay, so this is the column and this is the data. So we need to take this data and put it into a Treeview. So first of all, we need to have a master frame, then after we need to have a search frame, and inside of it we need to have a tree frame so that we could fit our Treeview in it. Okay, so between these two, I'm gonna have my function where I could make a master frame for all of the contents that are going to be inside of it. So let's say def master frame, I call this another variable, put it into a call of frame, because we don't need to like tk.frame, because we have already imported all the libraries from the Tkinter, so we don't have to do that one. Frame, we're going to put that into root, and the height would be 600, and width, the width would be 600 too. Okay, master frame. So Okay, so master frame done, and then we need to keep that, pack that into root. So we can just say master frame dot pack. So it's already packed, and it's good. So now we need div entry frame. Just let's call that entry frame. And we could just say entry frame. Let's say frame. We can paste that into a master frame. Okay, since the master frame isn't globally verified, so I can't access this particular frame, this particular variable into this one. So what do I need to do? I need to just make it global. Master frame. Now I could just get the variable from that function because it's been globally accessible. So frame, and let's give it a background of this. Okay, then we could just say end frame dot s x equals to 10, y equals to 10, width equals, so the width is going to be the same as a master frame, so I'm going to be using wconfig. So let's say master frame dot info width, and the height is going to be master frame dot info height. Okay, since I'm using this master frame, so this frame is already been posted on that loop, so I need to be if I need to access that file, I need to be using new method of that frame, master frame. I can use that in here. Dot update. So now that's going to be updating the master frame. So then if I need to have a label, let's say label equals to label, and it's going to be on the int frame, and the text is going to be search by full name, and the background would be blue as well because I want a very good look. Foreground color would be white, and let's give it a font. Font equals to, let's say, Times New Roman, and make it to 15 size. And let's use grid. Level dot grid. Row equals to 0. Row equals to 0. Column equals to 0. Equals to 0. Pad x equals to, let's say, 5. And pad y equals to 5. Okay, so yeah, the label is done. And I need to have a search entry on tree on this frame, and a text variable. I need to have a text variable for that one. Text variable equals to int underscore var. So this hasn't been created yet, so I need to make that into here. Text variable, and I would be using string variable in here. String var. String var. Okay, so the label is done, and I need to have a search entry. So let's search empty, in a grid, row equals to 0, column equals to 1, column equals to 1, flat x equals to 5. Okay, so I'm going to have a trace variable, so let's give source underscore int var dot trace w right, and I'm gonna be setting that to filter first name. There's a function new filter function. So every time I write something in that entry box, it's gonna set it to the set int var variable, and then it's gonna run a function. Every single time I type, every single letter is being typed, it's going to run this function, which hasn't been created yet. Let's create this one in here. My new function. Let's give it a pass for right now. And let's press this one in here. So yeah, I guess the GUI part is done. We need to have a tree view also. Let's do a tree view. Create a tree frame, and I need to have the tree frame. Tree frame equals to frame, and I'm going to put this into a master frames. I can search master, it's this one. So this frame, and this part of the GUI is only quite long, but the logic is quite easy. Green tree frame dot less x equals to 10, y equals to, let's say, 50, and width equals to, let's say, 600, height equals to, let's say, 420. Okay, the actual tree widget is going to be in here, so I'm gonna call my tree equals to tk tree view. Yeah, we have the tree view over there. Tree frame, it's gonna be into a tree frame, and the height would be like the same as the 700. Doesn't really matter what you put in here, but okay, my tree has columns. As we can just access by that one, see columns. So I remember that we had created a variable in the very first place, this one, this variable column. So I'm going to put that into in here, columns, and I'm going to loop that for our in column. I'm gonna put that into perspectives, like let's say my tree dot column, say I comma width would be 80, and my tree dot heading I would be text equals to I dot capitalize function. So it's already in the loop, and my tree would show. It's kind of weird, like we have been into this kind of century, and we like need to provide every single details to that one. Headings, my tree dot pack field equals to equals. So I'm gonna pack this one. So let's do it. let's see if this is gonna work. Div app. So I'm going to call master frame. Master frame, and I'm going to call entry frame. Then I'm going to call tree frame. And at the end of the session, I'm going to call app. Let's run this one. Okay, so our GUI is pretty much ready, and we only need to do is like to add data. So let's add some data to this Treeview. So remember that we have already inserted data in the first section in here, this one. So I need to insert this data to that Treeview. So I'm going to make, so yeah, for the sake of the simplicity, I'm just going to do the function in here. Okay, so let's say for each in data, I'm going to say my tree dot insert, leave the first column, and on the end of the session, the values would be each. Yes, after doing that one, let's rerun the program. We can see, yeah, things are on their particular order. If I type something in here, I'm not going to get anything. Okay, so I'm not going to get anything, so I need to make that a function. So even if I type something in here, you could see in the background that there is something going on. Yeah, like this is something going on. Okay, so what's going on? So whenever I type something in this field, yeah, this field, this function is running, and this function is printing out, but it doesn't have any kind of arguments taken. So I need to put that here. Let's say gather every arguments. Okay, so the thing is that whenever I press something, it's going to grab this one. Okay, so the word is going to be in this one and this one. So let's carry on with the example now. Let's say items, gather all the items from the Treeview. Items in Treeview equals to line tree dot get underscore children. So this is a function. So I'm going to grab all the children from my tree, and my tree is still having this red underline. So I can see that it's not in global. Yeah. So now I'm not going to get an error. See? Okay. So then I do have the word which I just entered right into that function. So that the word is going to be in here, this one. Whenever I type a letter in that entry box, that's going to be set into this one. So let's say search equals to search underscore entvar dot get, and capitalize that one. Capitalize so that we don't have any kind of errors. Now the fun part is for each item in items in Treeview. So whatever the data it's in that one, I'm going to loop through it. Then after I'm going to say if search the word in my tree dot item, and search that into the item, because I'm going to loop, I'm going to be moving the columns, right? So I need to access my tree items, and I'm going to paste each item I'm sorry, but it's item. Each item. So it's going to return me a list, and I'm going to access it values. And since my full name is on 0, 1, and 2 columns, so I'm going to be accessing the 2 column, second column. I'm going to access the second column, second index. Then after I could just say search underscore variable equals to my tree dot item, each item, and then after I'm just going to be pasting out the values. It's kind of simple, but then after my tree dot delete each item, so I'm going to delete that one. Then after I'm going to be, since I found the item where the item is located, then I'm going to delete that one, and I'm going to replace that one with the new one. Insert the same thing, and the first one for values would be search underscore where. Okay, I guess the function is running, so let's check it out. Okay, so let's type Chris. Okay, you can see in the screen, like it's Chris Hemsworth, Christina, Chameleon, Chris Hemsworth, and all that. Okay, so you can see that this one is a little bit... Oh, okay. You just say apple. Apples. And let's run the function again. Okay, apples. Okay, apples. Let's say Narayan. Okay, let's say Samuel. Okay, it is working out. Very good. Okay, I guess you have understood the section. The code is right in here. So this is the function. So you could just slow motion from here. I'm going to be scrolling down very slightly so that you could understand the concept of the video. This is the data, and here is my program, root tk, root geometry, and we have this string variable. I know it's in the outer section of the function, but also it's good. It's working fine. I created a master frame. You can just do a pause, and I created an enter frame, and yeah, enter frame. You could just pause and you could do right thing, and there's a tree frame. And that's all to it. And after I combine that to an app, master frame, enter frame, and tree frame, then I call that app. So it's kind of easy. So like if you have any questions regarding that one, please comment down below.